When will Tesla be worth 1 trillion US dollars? Hello, everybody. This is Stockerfinance. I'm your host, David Scheuer. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Stockerfinance for more updates. This is a question that a lot of people have been asking that I've seen in the comments. When do you think Tesla will hit a trillion? 1 trillion. It's like this big goal for all Tesla investors that we want to see the market cap of Tesla reach is 1 trillion US dollars. Now, warning, this video is very speculative. It's kind of just fun, an estimate video. It's not a serious analysis of Tesla stock whatsoever. It's more of just a video for fun and to kind of look into the future a little bit. So I recently did a poll on Twitter. I said, what do you think Tesla's future market cap will be in the next 5 years? If your answer isn't in this range, just pick one closest. Now, the majority of people picked $1 trillion plus. In fact, 46.2% of the votes did. Then we had the Tesla Q people. They all picked 0 to 100 billion, of course. The least amount of people picked 250 to 400 billion. And the second most amount of people, for 30.8% of the votes, picked 500 to 850 billion. Now, this poll did not have many votes. It only had around 13 votes. I think if you did, or if someone had more Twitter followers, tweeted this out, got a lot more votes on it, I actually think the results would be somewhat similar. I think the majority of Tesla investors are very optimistic, very bullish people who are going to choose the $1 trillion plus mark simply because they're optimistic and they look forward to that, even if it might not necessarily be the case. But if we look into the graphs here as I go on and look into some numbers, 5 years for $1 trillion for Tesla actually might seem a little more realistic on Tesla's timeline, especially with the current growth that it's facing. So the first thing is Tesla was at $1,500. It's been on a surge recently. If you've been following the stock recently, or the stock market in general, you'll notice that Tesla's just been on a rampage. It was up 10.78%, actually a little more than that on Friday. And then over the past month, it's been up about 60%. In fact, more than that since today. And it's actually been hard to make this video and keep up with the price of Tesla since it keeps fluctuating so much. It actually crossed $1,700 a share, up another 10%. Although I think there was a bit of a sell-off, a bit of a market, some profit taking going on. And the price has since climbed back down to around the $1,500-$1,600 mark. But the market cap crossed 300 billion. In fact, it went as high as 315 or 316 billion US dollars for Tesla's market cap. Now, this is a big deal because this means that it crossed Tesla's fourth tranche here. Now, it's currently across four tranches, or sorry, it's fifth tranche. And what these tranches are, this is a great way that we can kind of put Tesla's market cap on a timeline. So each of these little tranches here, each of these milestones represents a certain value for Tesla's market cap. As you can tell at the very end, it's a 650 billion, and it just crossed the 300 billion mark today. Now, this is how Elon Musk gets paid for being the CEO. Rather than taking a normal salary or normal bonus, like a lot of CEOs, he's simply getting paid based on the performance of Tesla. Now, the interesting thing here is that this performance package has a contract for a 10-year expiration date. So within 10 years, if he doesn't reach the last goal here, he won't get anything. So he only gets the money, or I guess in this case, it's options. He only gets that value if he reaches these goals, which is really great for Tesla investors because it shows that Elon has to be bullish, that he has to keep innovating and pushing Tesla to its limits in order to reach these goals, which I think is a very interesting way to pay a CEO. Now, we recently, if we kind of just look at how Tesla's growing and the rate that it's going here, obviously the contract is in 10 years. So by 2028, since it was released in 2018 on January 23rd, now that means by 2028, Tesla has to be worth at least 650 billion US dollars for Elon to get that tranche, or to get that milestone and that pay. But we've actually been going at a much faster rate. In fact, we've been going at a rate of about 2 per year, maybe about 2.5 to 3 per year as of right now. So if we just do 2 per year, we have 4 out of 12. Actually, that should be 5 out of 12 now. There's 8 tranches left at 2 per year. 8 divided by 2 equals 4 years until completion. However, that still doesn't get us to the $1 trillion mark. That's only $650 billion market cap for Tesla by 2024. I actually think this is a fairly realistic goal. I know 650 billion from 300 billion seems like a very crazy return, but for Tesla, it's a tech stock. As a lot of investors, it's not even in the S&P yet. Its earnings are coming up. It's releasing a lot of new products, innovating. It's becoming an actual profitable company, which is starting to unlike a lot of these tech companies, which don't make money, Tesla's starting to actually back up the valuation by creating more and more profit. So we'll see what happens with the earnings as well as the S&P, the potential inclusion in the S&P 500, which could increase the value of the market cap pretty rapidly there in the near future. So anyways, I don't think this is too unrealistic. However, a 1 trillion is still another 350 billion to go from this mark, which is the last goal here. So how do we look at the 1 trillion, or how do we get to that goal that we're trying to, and how do we put it on a timeline as well? Well, one way we can do it is simply by looking at the growth of the markets that Tesla is involved in. Now, the most prominent one right now is the auto market. So the auto market in terms of size actually doubles about every 20 years. Now in 2016, there's 1.34 billion cars on the road, and in 2036, it's projected to be 2.68 billion cars on the road. Now Tesla's ramping up in China. It has a Europe ramp up at the Berlin Gigafactory. North America is going strong, and the Tesla Semi also just released and already has 512 confirmed orders. Elon says there's actually more, like 2,000, which by Elon's word could mean $400 million in potential revenue for Tesla, which could be very substantial. Now, I want to just keep an eye on this auto market growth, because where China or Tesla is building its gigafactory is very strategical. It's building it in places where this growth is going the fastest. We recently just had an announcement today about a potential gigafactory or terafactory or something in India that could come in the near future. I think that's still a year or two out for Tesla, but that is a very fast growing market. And same with China, which is an incredibly fast growing market. And I think these earnings that are upcoming are going to reflect that growth there. That I think is just really going to surprise people how much demand is in China for Tesla's products. So let's look at other market segments. These are really related to the vehicle segment still, or the auto market for Tesla. So the first thing is the rideshare market. Now this is projected to grow to 218 billion by 2025. The vehicle to grid, which is the peaker plant market, has an $800 billion potential, is what I kind of have researched. But again, I think that's I think take that with a grain of salt, because the actual value of the peaker plant market in the US right now is only 10 to 12 billion. The $800 billion potential is the value of pretty much the entire electric utilities market. So our electric grid needs innovation and needs more storage. And since Tesla is pretty much an energy company rather than just an auto company, and it's becoming more and more of an electric utilities company and to compete with traditional electric utilities company, I think it's perfect timing for Tesla to enter them, since electric utilities companies, they need more storage and they need more innovation as well. Oops, sorry about that. So the next thing is the autonomous delivery market. This is valued at $796.7 billion US dollars. We have apps and advertising, which is going to go on the little Tesla console in the near future. Then we could definitely value that at about 5 to 10 billion US dollars, probably a little less though. Now, if we add the value of all these different market segments up, it equals $1.297 trillion that Tesla could potentially grow into. And they're all pretty fast growing markets, or they're at least all growing markets. None of them are stagnant and none of them are decreasing in the size of their market, which is a great thing to see for Tesla. So next up is Tesla Energy. Don't forget about it. A lot of people forget about Tesla Energy. It's really easy. Oops, sorry, my computer's dying apparently. All right, so the global solar energy market was valued at $52.5 billion in 2018, but it's projected to reach $223.3 billion by 2026. Another super fast growing market. Now, the Tesla solar in general is actually hurting pretty badly right now from the pandemic, but I think Tesla's solar and Solar City is really set up in a great way to thrive after it and even during it right now. I think the way that you can just order your solar panels online, get them installed, it's all super seamless and easy. Other companies are still selling like door to door, going to trade shows, etc. Tesla's basically skipping all that and just going directly to the consumer, which I think is a great strategy. And as Elon stated previously, he thinks that the energy sector of Tesla is actually going to grow faster. It won't necessarily get larger than Tesla's auto sector, but it'll grow faster at a faster rate than the auto segment of Tesla has grown. And I think the whole pandemic has delayed that growth a little bit, but in the near future, we could really see that start to ramp up, start to snowball, and grow pretty substantially, which will add a lot of value to Tesla's market cap in the near future. So I also didn't include battery storage for countries, rural areas, etc. Charging stations Tesla could potentially lease out to other companies who don't have access to the same type of grid that Tesla does. Repairs and service, as they sell more vehicles, they're going to need more service, which will also add more revenue. Future vehicles and tech, it's just an unknown amount of money there. And the ATV and UTV market. Now, the ATV was announced with the Cybertruck. It's currently an $8 billion market, and it's projected to grow to $25 billion market by 2025. So another fast-growing market there that Tesla's involved in. So, anyways, if we go and just look at this on a timeline. Now, the things in orange are what's coming up in the near future. The things in red are things that are already happening right now, and the blue is kind of the far future, so a couple of years, few years out from now. Now, in the near future, we have the Q2 profit and earnings beat coming up, or hopefully an earnings beat. We have the S&P 500 inclusion, which will be especially large since Tesla essentially skipped all the smaller S&P indexes, and it's actually getting added to the S&P will have a much more of an impact than it usually would. Now, I say plus 15 to 20% there. Take that with a grain of salt. It's kind of a speculative game there. I don't want people to start investing in Tesla because they think it's going to go up 20% when it gets added to the S&P. It's really hard to tell what will happen. But by getting added to the S&P, it's going to have access to a lot more larger investors, retirement funds, etc., that'll have the availability to invest into Tesla since it's in the S&P 500. So we also have Tesla semi-deliveries, the China ramp-up, and the India ramp-up, which is potentially in the far future or somewhat in the near future. Just kind of an announcement today. Hasn't really been confirmed, though. With the Europe ramp-up, the Model Y price was actually lowered, which will increase sales. We have the full self-driving price, which was raised more, which will get higher margins, and it's going to continue to raise more. Cybertruck, 2020 Roadster, etc. Now, again, by 2024, we have $650 billion, just according to this graph. I think that's pretty realistic. Now, with all the quick growing markets that Tesla's involved in, like the autonomous driving, Tesla Energy, etc., I think to reach $1 trillion by at least 2025 in terms of market cap, especially with how many investors want to invest in Tesla and for how forward-looking all of Tesla's investors are, I think that's actually a fairly realistic timeline. So it's 5 years from now, $1 trillion. That is my estimate, and you can hold me to this. If you disagree with me, please comment below why. I would love to hear. I'm a very optimistic person. I'm very bullish. I'm invested in Tesla myself, so I kind of have to be an optimistic person here for Tesla. But just based on Tesla's PE ratio growing or being so high, with its forward-looking outlook from all Tesla's investors, and with Tesla growing very substantially, with its competition suffering pretty badly, with Tesla innovating, and just being in these fast-growing markets, to reach a $1 trillion market cap in the next 5 years, I don't think it's too unrealistic, especially since it's already growing at about 2 tranches per year, which means that $650 billion mark by 2024 is fairly realistic. So to add another $350 billion in market cap value with 1 extra year, so by 2025, I don't think that's too unrealistic, especially since by then, we should see the Roadster, the Cybertruck, we should see the Tesla Semi being ramped up, Gigafactories and potential Terafactory in Texas or India. So we have a lot more stuff coming that's not already released. We also have Battery Train, the 1 million mile battery, the Battery Train and Powertrain Day coming up soon, which will have a bunch of announcements that'll potentially speed up this timeline. It'll be really interesting to see. So anyways, here's some other things I just want to quickly go over here. We have Battery Train and Powertrain Day, as I just said. More quarterly earnings, obviously. South America and Central America sales. We have Solar City, Tesla Energy growing, the solar roof ramp up, more vehicles equals, again, more revenue from maintenance. We have the rideshare program, which by 2025, I won't be surprised if that's starting to get rolled out, although I think that's going to take a while just because of regulation. We have the vehicle-to-grid market, the Tesla ATV market, which I already touched on, 1 million mile battery, and again, competition dying off, RIP Ford Motor Company. So anyways, here's a terrible, 2-year-old drew this timeline for Tesla. It's not accurate, just an estimate. Did this in Photoshop. It's just a garbage timeline. But anyways, I think this gives a brief example of how many different things Tesla's going through by 2024. And this isn't even all those things added to the list. Now, there's tons of different things coming up, a bunch in the near future that could really speed up. So by 2025, I'm expecting Tesla to reach $1 trillion in market cap value. Again, this is just kind of a fun video, just an estimate. It's not necessarily something that is crazy, but from what the rate of return that Tesla's been going at right now, from $300 billion to $1 trillion, that's not too unrealistic in my mind for Tesla, especially with the forward outlook of Tesla's investors. Here's just a meme of the day for Tesla. I think we just kind of deserve it because I think it's a pretty accurate meme. And anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you kind of enjoyed this more fun video. I'll be back with a more analytical and I guess more professional video on Wednesday. So please subscribe for that. Check out these videos as well and follow Stockerfinance on Twitter. Yeah, peace out, everybody.